Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and you are watching the Morning Forecast Show. Happy New Year to everyone watching. I hope you had a great New Year celebration. Well done to the main winner of the giveaway and also all the extra winners. I wish everyone a happy, healthy, prosperous new year. So let's get straight into it and hopefully it'll be a good year for us all. Welcome into the show. We're live every single day, 2 hours before the opening bell. We've got a special today about Buffett's plan. We've got BIDU AI coming into the scene. We've got a lot of top stories. So if you have just tuned in, make sure you have hit that like button and you have also subscribed. Okay, let's get straight into it. Happy New Year, everyone. I see the chat going. Afternoon, a happy new year from a chill Birmingham, England. Styles, Creamer, thank you very much for tuning in. Human Being Liz is here. Going to translate your email fast, says Human Being Liz. I love it. Thank you for subscribing to the newsletter. If you haven't got the newsletter, here is the link. It's the first link in the description. Let me check the chat. Do we have someone? Caroline Delange. Hey Sensei, are you going to... Okay, Caroline Delange, I messaged you in Discord previously. Unfortunately, there is no way to send a mug to South Africa. So, as mentioned, because it was a prize and you didn't buy a mug, we can't do anything currently. If that situation changes, then I'll get back to you. But there is no way to send a mug to South Africa from our providers because there's restrictions on South Africa and there isn't anyone building them near South Africa. So we do have an issue there. But again, if that situation changes, I will let you know as soon as possible. But yes, don't worry. If that changes, we'll let you know. And if not, unfortunately, that means for now, you won't be able to get that prize from the last giveaway. But yeah, remember, they are always prizes. We try and do our best, but if something doesn't work behind the scenes, yeah, I mean, what can we do? But I'll get back to you, Caroline, if that situation changes in South Africa. Why is BIDU up so much, says Ilsador. We will be covering that story later. Human Being Liz says, Yolanda, hugs to you, all the best for this year. Yes, we're wishing everyone the best. Silver Days, Happy New Year to you too. Okay, let's get into all the information. If you have just tuned in, please hit that like button and subscribe. So, we're looking at silver initially. A lot of people have been bearish on silver. A lot of people have been saying silver's going to crash, but silver's been holding up pretty well, actually. I mean, I did expect a significant pullback on silver after hitting our $75 target. We've now hit our target of $75. But it's actually, there has been some major volatile days. Up 10%, down 15%, up 6%. Down 6%, today up 4%. A lot of volatility, a lot of volume. But as long as we stay above $70 and then hold on to $75, that volume can translate into a continuation towards the upside. Let's go over to our morning forecast newsletter. Let's refresh for today's morning forecast, Friday, the 2nd of January. So, top stories today are AI power bottleneck shifts, silicon demand remains steady. So that's talking about obviously chips, NVIDIA or AMD. The chips remain steady, but major issues, electricity shortages and grid delays now limit hyperscalers' deployment capabilities. This is what I've been talking about. This is why I've wanted to start the portfolio challenge, because I'm looking at behind the scenes. What do I mean by that? I'm looking at what's needed for AI, and everyone looks at the chips. No one looks at the electricity. People are now starting to look into it. The stories are now forming. Maybe I'm a little bit late to it now, but we will see when we start researching this. But electricity shortages and grid delays now limit hyperscalers' deployment capabilities. It is now the beginning of the new year, and as promised, I have funded the account. Oh, is that mirrored? You can't really see. But that's... Why is that mirrored? How can I unmirror that? Give me a second. Let me show you this. If I do that, it should not be mirrored anymore. The ISA is now funded. you can see we've now, I'll link this up properly to the show as we get started with it, but I kept my promise. It is now the first show of the new year. I have funded the ISA with 5,000 UK pounds, and we will be trying to run this up to 300,000 and beyond over time. Again, never financial advice. I'm not doing alerts and telling you what I'm buying, when I'm buying, exactly when I'm buying. I'll be doing my own thing. I'll be sharing it on the show. I'll be sharing it in the newsletter, my research behind it. But again, it's going to be a high risk, high reward. We'll see what we can do, starting with 5,000, currently sat in cash, uninvested cash, which is earning, I think, 3.8%. That will probably quickly change towards bonds. And then we will start deploying into specific investments. But I just wanted to show you that has been done. Happy New Year, everyone. XRPM ETF paid its first dividend out. 0.67, not too shabby. XRPM ETF paid out its first dividend. XRP, excuse me. XRPM paid out its first dividend. XRPM. Oh, the 3% monthly premium income ETF. Okay, got it. Well, congratulations to you. The dividend yield is 37% a year. I love it. But it's also down pretty significantly as well. It's already down 17%. I mean, I would have to look into a bit more before I make an investment into that. Also, here in the UK, remember, we can't actually buy a lot of these ETFs. We have access to Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs in an ISA, but I think next year that's going to be removed from the ISA. But that's all we have access to at this moment in time. Nice Sensei, thanks for showing. No worry, Liz. Liz, do you have access to? You're from Germany, right? I know Trading 212 is not available in the US. Do you? I think it's available in Europe. Is that the platform you use? You don't have to share, but do you have access to Trading 212? I just want to know if it's a European thing as well, or it's just the most popular one here in the UK. Okay, let's get into our top stories. So, AI bottleneck shifts. We're talking about electricity shortages. We've got Chinese AI chip surge. Biren and Kunlun Kink's listing challenge Nvidia's dominance as efficiency gains become the new competitive frontier. We've got oh God, it's a Chinese one. I can just call it Baidu, but let's call it Baidu IPO filing signals accelerating Chinese AI chip momentum, driving share gains and shrinking conglomerate sum of parts discounts. Massive stories coming out of China with AI. We've got mortgage rates hitting a low. Average 30-year rates dropped to 6.15%, yet high prices and low inventory continue to stall buyers. And we've got Wall Street's 2026 outlook. Institutions forecast a Goldilocks economy, but massive AI capital expenditures risks, creating an infrastructure bubble. And then today's deep dive is all on Warren Buffett, the Berkshire leadership shift. Greg Abel takes over CEO, managing a record 381 billion cash pile for future acquisitions. All of that coming up in today's show. Let's start off with the one big thing, which is Berkshire Hathaway's strategic liquidity. Berkshire Hathaway has accumulated a record 381 billion cash reserve by aggressively selling equities and halting share buybacks. This massive liquidity position reflects a disciplined refusal to participate in an overpriced market where primary valuation metrics exceed historical crisis levels. This strategy leverages profitable insurance float to maintain a capital cushion that thrives during volatility. For investors, this capital represents a strategic readiness rather than a simple hoarding. So just if there's a lot of stories going around saying Warren Buffett is hoarding cash, he's hoarding cash. First of all, he's not actually holding cash. It'll be in money markets and he'll be gaining a yield from that. Secondly, he has to hold a specific amount of cash because if you think about Berkshire Hathaway, it's mostly an insurance company, and insurance companies need to have liquidity. But But yeah, it's not really 100% because he sees a crash coming. He likes to be invested. But he also wants to have cash. So if an opportunity presents itself, or when I say cash, I mean money equivalents, cash equivalents, he wants to, if an opportunity presents itself, Berkshire Hathaway is known to just acquire companies. So for investors, this capital represents strategic readiness rather than simple hoarding. If it grants new CEO Greg Abel the unique ability to execute massive acquisitions if market prices drop. This positioning prioritizes institutional patience over immediate performance. For more, see the deep dive section in the newsletter, which we'll come on to. So, there we go. That is the main story around Buffett. I've got you the 5 top tips from Buffett coming up later in the video and live stream, and also what I think he's going to be deploying his cash into. Market is in the fear stage, both in the stock market and crypto. Let's go into some of our winners. We've got SOC, which is rallied following federal approval to restart its last Forles pipeline, clearing a path for the company to resume production operations. We've got Diginext Limited climbed as it prepared to track a broader speculative rally in the cryptocurrency and technology sector. We've got SIDU Space up another 20% today in the pre-market trading. This is something we've covered before on the show, something we brought to your attention earlier this week, I think. And now it's up another, it was up 20% earlier in the day, but now it's up another 15% pre-market, coming into that level of resistance we've been highlighting around $4. Let's see if we can break through it as well. Is it not a good idea to invest in Berkshire? Never touched it. Is it a good idea? Berkshire Hathaway has historically beaten the markets. The issue now, which some people would say is an issue, is to do with the fact that they have so much cash and that interest rates are coming down and they could be earning less on that cash. And have they been too late to deploy it? Have they missed out on a rally? That's the issue. That's why it's on discount. Plus a new CEO. The stock's trading at a little bit of a discount at the moment, but obviously those are the reasons why. Berkshire over time, if we go over to Berkshire's, just answering a comment from Liz about Berkshire. If you look at Berkshire's stock price, if you go over to the weekly time frame, or the monthly time frame, each of these candles now represents 1 month. You can see it's been very much a parabolic chart forever. You can overlay something like, if we add the S&P 500 to this, you can see in the same period, the S&P 500 is up 377%. Berkshire Hathaway is up 1,327%. So since 1996, Berkshire Hathaway has gone up 2,000%. The S&P 500 has gone up 900%. You can see on this chart, this same percentage scale. You can see the S&P 500 in blue, Berkshire Hathaway with the candlesticks. Berkshire Hathaway historically has outperformed the S&P 500. Do I expect it to continue to outperform the S&P 500? That's an interesting one. Why do I say it's an interesting one? Well, because the S&P 500 is now very much 30% in the Magnificent Seven, and the Magnificent Seven is all about AI. So Berkshire Hathaway does have, and I was going to come on to this, but I'll say it now. Berkshire Hathaway obviously has gone on and bought a large share of Google. They've deployed some cash into the AI sector. But if you're betting on AI, then the S&P 500, 30% of it's in AI. If you're betting on consumer durables, insurance, all the things that Berkshire loves, then you will go with Berkshire. My bet is more on AI. So I think the S&P, this gap will close between Berkshire and the S&P 500. Why? Well, because the S&P 500 is very heavily now concentrated. 30% of it is in the AI. If you're looking at the NASDAQ, let's add NASDAQ to this. I think the gap will close even more with something like the NASDAQ. Let's go same price percentage scale. Oh, actually, the NASDAQ has already outperformed Berkshire Hathaway. You can see that's the Nasdaq on the green chart. The Nasdaq is up 3,500% compared to 2,000 with Berkshire Hathaway compared to 1,000 with the S&P 500. If we just move forward and go over the last maybe since 2020, they're all pretty similar. You can see Berkshire Hathaway's actually performed the worst out of all of them since 2020 or since the crash. Berkshire's up 142%, S&P 500's up 164%, and Nasdaq's up 225%. And if you look at since 2024, if we try and find January of 2024, you're looking at Berkshire Hathaway up 30%, S&P 500 up 34%, and the Nasdaq up 40%. So it's very much now time for AI, and Nasdaq has the most AI, S&P 500 has the second most AI, Berkshire Hathaway has the least amount of AI. So we might see Berkshire Hathaway start underperforming Nasdaq and the S&P 500 over the coming years if you believe in AI. If we have an AI crash, Berkshire Hathaway might really deploy into the AI scene. So it's very hard to grasp what's the best investment right now. Berkshire Hathaway obviously is more actively managed. The S&P and Nasdaq don't have those fees that might come alongside Berkshire. That might come alongside with Berkshire's employees and all of that sort of stuff. It's a company rather than an index. So what would I do? I just like to diversify. If you look at my main portfolio behind the scenes, I will have shares of Berkshire, I'll have Nasdaq. I don't have too much S&P 500. I'll have a world index, gold, silver, a few individual companies. But if I was going to take a riskier bet, I would probably be more towards Nasdaq than Berkshire Hathaway. I've got a few more questions coming in. Let me answer a few more questions before we come on to BIDU. Let's go over to BIDU stock though. Let me get rid of the S&P 500 and Nasdaq. Okay, why is that being weird? Let me just remove these. Let's answer a few more questions before we go into the full analysis. Morning, afternoon, Sensei. First of all, Happy New Year. May all your dreams come true this year. Thank you. I wish you the same. In the Netherlands, it's available. Human Being List says, yes, it is. I don't get the question, sorry. If I have access to what? The trading platform, Trading 212. That's the one I'm going to be using probably for the portfolio challenge. I was just wondering if people in Europe also have access to Trading 212. Chris says, yes, it's available in the Netherlands. Thank you. It's Zatone says, morning, afternoon, Sensei. Thank you very much. Human Being List says, hello, David. David Hensley's here. Lovely to see you, David. Yolanda's here. Good morning, David. Human Being List says, is it not a good idea to invest in Berkshire? I've just answered that. Human Being List says, hello, happy, great year for you. Time to take the plane. Thanks, Sensei. Yolanda says, 131 people watching and 26 likes. Hit the like button. Yes, what's going on? Please hit the like button. It takes 1 second. I know people are a bit lazy early in the morning, but it takes a second. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. High Energy Investments says, Shalom from East Tennessee. Hello, High Energy Investments. Human Being Liz says, oh, Zach arrived. Say hi to your family. Whiskey 301 says, why is this stock so volatile? Ticker symbol AKJK. AMI Health Technology. AKJK. Well, it's a healthcare company. It's all about what drugs get approved, what don't get approved, how they're doing with them. AKJK. That doesn't exist. That ticker symbol. Whiskey 301. Human Being List says, wow, mini revenue for us all. Sensei, thanks a lot. Mini review for everyone. No worry, Liz. Ninja Cowboy says, morning, everyone. Daniel Morgan says, what do you think? Daniel Morgan says, what do you think of this rally we're getting in crypto, especially the meme stocks, which are pumping. Normally, that's an indication that risk is entering the market again as the memes pump first. What do you think of the rally we're getting in crypto, especially the meme stocks, which are pumping? Normally, that's an indication the risk is entering the market again as meme pumps first. What meme stocks are pumping, Daniel Morgan? I have said for a while now, for the last couple of weeks, we can be looking at a short-term bottom on Bitcoin XRP to have a bounce back, even all the way up to 100,000 for Bitcoin. And then we make the decision, is that a lower high or are we going to continue? That's why I've actually been buying small amounts of crypto across the board, because we're down to my next target. XRP was hit my next target. Bitcoin hasn't, but some of the altcoins like Flare and Filecoin have hit my next 50% drop. Pepe up 33% in 24 hours. Okay. But you said meme stocks. Do you mean meme cryptos? A lot of these, remember, they've just been crushed by shorts. You get short squeezes like this all the time. You can see how many times you've had these short squeezes, and it's just resulted in another 80% drop. Great information. Thanks a lot. No worries, Liz. Whiskey301 says, I'm sorry, take a symbol as JFK. Okay. AK. Oh, sorry. No. What's going on? AF. What's going on? AFJK. Yes, there we go. It was down 22% yesterday, up 26% in the bear market. I would imagine this is all to do with, well, yeah, I mean, if you look at 9th of December, it was worth $7. Now it's 81. It's just probably been approved a drug. Now the market's trying to price in what's going on. There's short squeezes happening. It is probably a small company as well. Yeah, market cap's under 500 million. It used to be worth nothing. They're not making money. There's a blank check company which exchanges enters a merger share exchange asset acquisition share per. Oh, okay, so they do mergers and acquisitions. It all depends on what's going on behind the scenes. This is meant to be a volatile company. If you don't know much about it, I wouldn't be getting involved with it. To be honest, I don't know much about it, but looking at the way it trades, I don't want to have any part of it. High Energy Investment says, being pre-rich is getting hard. Hopefully 2026 is the year. But remember, it's a long-term game. It's a Zantone. Pepe up 15% at the moment. Yes, it is. Thank you. I was wondering what meme stocks are up. Human Being Liz says, in Germany, Trading 212 operates through FX Flat Bank, which is licensed by BaFin, meaning customers benefit from German deposit protection of up to 100,000 euros. Yes, Liz, just Googled it. Thanks for the information about 212. Yeah, no, I don't know if it's the main one in Germany as well, because it's the main one in the UK. I think their headquarters are in Sweden or somewhere in Europe. I'm not sure, but I just didn't know if you've heard about it. Anyway, let's come on to our top stories. Congratulations again to the winner of the $2,000 giveaway. I'm sorry I couldn't join you for the New Year's Eve night. Unfortunately, I had to go to, well, I don't know if it's, I would have loved to spend it with you, but I don't want to say unfortunately I had to spend it with the family, but I did have to spend time with the family, and I wasn't able to get the service to call in. So I apologize. I wasn't there for the giveaway night. I'm glad that that the winner was selected. I think it was first try as well when I was watching it back. So that was great news. And also all the people that we suggested, thank you for participating and reposting everything, and I hope you won your merchandise as well. Whiskey301, thank you, Sensei, for the quick review, of course. Anytime. Okay, let's go into the top stories. Yeah, so congratulations everyone who won. Hopefully we'll be doing another one soon. Keep an eye on the channel, and we might be doing something soon as well. Okay, let's go on to so a lot of winners. We've got BIDU up 12% today. ASML up 4%, Alibaba up 4%. We've got Micron Technologies up 4%. The markets are up today. The new year has started well. I think it's the first day of proper stock market trading, and we're starting off pretty well. If you're looking at the S&P 500, you're up 0.56%. You got Nasdaq up 1% today, gold up 1.7%, silver up 4%, Bitcoin up 0.66%, XRP now gaining up 1%, and you've got your yields down and oil down slightly as well. So the markets are starting 2026 off with quite a nice gain, a sort of a bang. So that's quite good. Let's look at why that's going on and some of the issues. So AI's 2026 bottleneck moves chips to electricity. This is something that's in the newsletter. Go and check it out because that's the story I'm looking at because I want to be investing in the infrastructure plays in AI. Let's come on to the China story, especially to do with BIDU. We might do a video on it as well. But China's AI chip surge shakes up 2026 opening. So remember, China isn't just a small economy. It's is it the world's largest economy or the second largest? US must be the first largest economy. What's the world's largest? I wouldn't be surprised if China's coming close now. Yeah, obviously it's the United States with 20 trillion. But yeah, China's not far behind. China's 14 trillion. Yeah, China's catching up. Oh yeah, US is 30 trillion, China's 20 trillion GDP. Yeah, well, it's catching up. It's US and China. The next biggest one you would be looking at Germany, which is about 25% the size of China's. But yeah, China is catching up. So yeah, China's not a small economy; it is a large one, and they are figuring out this AI game now. So China's AI chip surge shakes up 2026 opening. The first full day of 2026 is seeing a massive shift in the AI narrative as Chinese chip makers take center stage. Shanghai's Biren Technology, a GPU designer, saw its Hong Kong IPO shares gap open 82% higher, eventually settling up 76% at Hong Kong dollars $34. This demand was fueled by an incredible retail oversubscription of, listen to this, 2,348 times. It was oversubscribed by 2,348 times. It's incredible. The appetite for AI, especially in China, is massive. Well, around the world. These weren't just Chinese investors, these are global investors. So this demand was fueled by an incredible retail oversubscription of 2,348 times. Simultaneously, Baidu's AI chip division, Kunanedix, filed its own Hong Kong listing, sending Baidu's stock up 12% in early trading. Amidst this, DeepSeek released a new trading framework that cuts computational overhead to just 6.7%, signaling that efficiency gains could be the next frontier of the AI race. For a long time, the AI trade was basically a bet on Nvidia's total dominance. These developments suggest that alternative stacks are becoming a legitimate threat to that monopoly, especially as China pushes for technological self-sufficiency. The 30-year Treasury yield hitting 4.88% shows investors are rotating out of safe haven bonds and into growth stories, buoyed by resilient labor market. The labor market's resilient, inflation's coming down, the economy is strong. We might not be getting rate cuts for liquidity. However, the market is coming out of bonds, going into AI, and that's why that's why the bond yields are going up. People are demanding more for bonds. So, at this moment in time, to start off 2026, while Tesla's 12% drop in Q4 deliveries indicates structural cooling in EVs, the market's appetite for AI hardware remains unsustainable. This represents a fundamental repricing of who controls the infrastructure necessary for the next generation of models. We need to keep an eye on Nvidia's power in Asia, and we need to keep an eye on these new or existing Chinese companies and how efficient they are, and how much they compete with Nvidia. So big stories coming out of China, second largest economy around the world, catching up to the United States, even though the United States is growing massively as well, economy-wise, GDP-wise. But yeah, there is a serious threat from China in their AI dominance. They might be catching up to the US, as you can see by some of these stocks oversubscribed by 2,000, gains of 800% on IPO. Baidu's separation, and also the stock being up 12%. A lot of indications there. Let's focus on that. Baidu's files for IPO as China's AI hardware boom. So let me tell you a bit more about this story. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of this company, but Baidu's officially moved to spin off its AI chip unit. So the company itself, the stock you see here, which we were looking at, BIDU, it's being split off for its AI segment, and that's obviously pushed the stock price up. So it plans to officially move. Baidu officially moved to spin off its AI chip unit called Kunlun Zin through confidential IPO filing in Hong Kong on January the 1st, 2026. This follows years of strategic preparation since the unit went independent in 2021 to attract outside capital. While financial details are currently private, Jefferies analyst estimates that the company's valuation is between 16 to 23 billion. Massive. The news sent Baidu's ADRs up 12% in pre-market trading as investors realized the parent company's 59% stake could be worth nearly 12 billion alone. So this is the parent company. Baidu is the parent company. They are now planning to IPO and remove the AI side of this company, or the chip side of this company. The parent company, BIDU, has a 56% stake. That new company is rumored to have a market cap around 20 billion. That will push up the parent company's stock valuation based off that. That's why we've got that 11% surge this morning up to all-time highs, or close to all-time high. No, not all-time highs, I apologize. Close to the highs we saw in 2023 for this parent company. So the parent company's up 12%. The new company, they own 59% of the new company, which could essentially be worth 12 billion alone. That 59% stake. The whole company could be worth 23 billion. So this move coincides with the massive market proof of concept from competitor Shanghai Beer and Technology, which saw its shares explode over 75% at its Hong Kong debut. So we've got another AI competitor that IPO'd. It was oversubscribed thousands of times. It had a massive IPO launch, up, I think, what was it, 700% on the launch? I don't know if I remember its ticker symbol. Biren Technologies, we covered this early in the week. Biren Technology, Shanghai Biren. Yeah, I don't remember its ticker symbol, but that was oversubscribed, and that jumped another 75%. So this surge in domestic AI hardware is fueled by a perfect storm of geopolitical friction. President Trump's recent policy requiring a 25% US government cut on Nvidia sales to China has effectively created a price floor for domestic alternatives. So essentially, when you put a tariff on these, and this is why Jensen Huang was very disappointed with Trump and not being able to sell their chips to China. Essentially, the Nvidia chips, you can now sell them to China, or at least the H200s to China, but there's a 25% fee that Nvidia will have to pay, not China, Nvidia will have to pay to the US government, making the Nvidia chips more expensive in China, 25% probably, or maybe 10%, or maybe Nvidia is swallowing that reduction. But it's more expensive in China, so these alternatives are benefiting from that specific tariff going on, which actually allows them to make more money, reinvest, and maybe one day catch up to Nvidia. So when US chips come with a 25% subcharge and political strings, Kunlun Zin's chips, optimized for Baidu's earning model, become far more attractive on a price-performance basis. This shift signals a significant capital rotation back towards Chinese hard tech. This massive success of Biren's IPO and Baidu's subsequent filing suggests Hong Kong Exchange is reclaiming its spot as the primary liquidity hub for Chinese tech, ending a long drought of major listings. Watch for the valuation re-rating of Chinese tech conglomerates as Kunlun Zin and Biren prove the domestic chip thesis. The sum of the parts discounts on parents like Baidu may continue to shrink. So I want to bring these stories to your attention. Go check out the Chinese AI story as well in the newsletter. I'll give you the link. It's the first link in the description. It's also in the live chat. But it's painting a picture that China is back in the game, and Trump's tariffs on, or fees on, these AI from Nvidia might be hurting the US more than most people think. So I wouldn't be rushing to buy these companies at these massive premiums, 800%, 500%, but I'll certainly be keeping an eye on it. And when I'm buying AI, I'm not just looking at the US only. I'll be looking around the world for those investments. There's the mortgage story. We'll go over that. Martyn will be live in about 20 minutes for his take on January on 2026 and what he will be doing with his money. Let's look into 2026 outlook from analysts, the $527 billion bet. Let me answer some questions before we come on to this story. Thank you very much for the quick review. H-bar up 12%. Thank you for your information. Hope it will last when US drops in. They talked a lot here in Europe last year. Pity missed this push this morning. Says Liz, thank you for your thoughts. It's a very quiet show this morning. What's everyone doing in the new year? Where is everyone? Is everyone sleeping? Did everyone have to go a bit too wild on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day? Hit the like button if you're here. Let me know in the chat if you are here, but you're not just commenting. Say hello and where you're from. Let me know in the chat if you are here in the show this morning. We are also running a poll right now. Are you bullish on the 2026 markets? Currently, 77% of you say yes. Let's come on to this story here. Wall Street's outlook for 2026 reveals a rare level of consensus, with 60 institutions clustering the S&P 500 targets between 7,000 and 8,100. Last week I told you the story, or earlier this week I told you the story of every single analyst predicting the markets to go up. Now we've got 60 institutions targeting the S&P 500 between 7,000 and 8,100. That's literally no one saying we're going to come down lower. Everyone is predicting we're going to be higher than where we are today. This narrow 16% spread signals a collective belief in the Goldilocks economy, yet the underlying numbers are staggering. Goldman Sachs has revised its 2026 AI hyperscaler capital expenditure forecast to $527 billion, a significant jump from earlier estimates of $465 billion. These are crazy numbers, by the way. Meanwhile, a major divide is emerging between the Federal Reserve, which projects only one rate cut, and market participants like Mark Zandi, who anticipate 3 rate cuts to combat softening labour market. Remember, keep an eye on the labour market, keep an eye on the inflation. If inflation stays sticky, they won't cut rates. More people will dissent, like we saw in earlier in last month in December. And if the labour market stays strong, they won't need to cut rates. We might get one. If the labour market weakens, we can have more rate cuts. This uniformity in forecast suggests the market may be underestimating tail risks, particularly in the infrastructure bubble. Potential of $500 billion in annual AI spending. If enterprise ROI doesn't materialize, this massive debt-funneled capex could pivot from an economic engine to deflationary shock. Investors also should monitor the Bank of Japan's move to 0.75%. Remember, we covered that earlier in December as well, as further hikes towards 1.25% may trigger a chaotic unwind of the yen carry trade. Not a slow, insignificant, and chaotic unwind of the yen carry trade. With President Trump likely to nominate a dovish Fed chair by May 2026, the traditional boundary between political pressure and central bank independence faces a serious test. So, every single person is predicting an amazing 2026. Institutions, 60 institutions are predicting a good 2026. Most of them are predicting it to be higher than 7,500 on the S&P 500, but none of them are saying we're going to be lower than where we are today. everyone is believing this Goldilocks economy, but there are still major issues. And when everyone goes one way, it's just inherent in me to think the other way. Of course, I like to be invested in the long term. I like to look 5-10 years down the line and always be invested. However, I don't want to be all in case we miss a major opportunity, for example, with a carry trade or with with no rate cuts or a black swan event. I like to have money ready to deploy. But I also think it's going to be a good 2026. The Berkshire shift. So let's start off the year with a bit of with a few Berkshire secrets. I'm not going to do the whole deep dive of the chart of the day because remember most of the newsletter included some of the stories are reserved for the premium members. But I do want to give you the 5 Berkshire Hathaway secrets. So remember, Greg is coming in, and let me tell you, I won't tell you too much about that. Let me just tell you the 5 secrets from Buffett. Before handing over the keys to the new CEO, Buffett highlighted 5 core rules. Here is what they actually mean for you. Let's go through Buffett's top tips. Okay, the 5 top tips from Warren Buffett. Remember, he has now stepped down as CEO, and that torch has been passed over. Number 1, time is your greatest tool. Don't try and get rich in a week. A lot of people thought they were going to get super rich last week with New Year's Eve XRP going from $1.80 to $100. Don't try and get rich in a week. If you do, you'll probably end up losing it. And you'll make many, many mistakes just always trying to chase the next best thing. Don't try and get rich in a week. Real wealth comes from compounding, where your money makes money, and that money makes money, and that money makes money. The trick is never interrupt it by panic selling. Panic selling, FOMO it, let the compounding work. Don't try and get rich in a week. Time is your greatest tool. Number 2, trust the people, not the math. This is from Warren Buffett, and I like this sentiment as well. You can have the best spreadsheets in the world, but if the people running a company are dishonest or have the wrong incentives, you will lose money. Buffett looks for character first. I'm not saying don't look at balance sheets, don't analyze the stock, but I'm saying actually you can do all the balance sheet research you want. But if you're not looking at the people that run the company, if you're not looking at their interviews, if you're not listening to their earnings calls, then it doesn't matter if you have the best balance sheet on earth. If you're not trusting the people, or the people are dishonest, and they're doing it for the wrong incentives, you will lose money in the end because they always think about themselves. We've seen that over and over again with specific companies. So Buffett looks for character first. Trust the people, not the math. Number 3, keep it simple. If you can't explain how a company makes money to a 10th grader, don't buy it. You need to understand the companies you invest in. Complexity, and it's same with XRP. A lot of those people that got hurt in over the last couple of days because they were expecting $100 XRP, they didn't understand what they were investing in. Keep it simple. If you don't understand XRP and you think it's going to go to $100 overnight because of one event or something like that, it's not going to happen. You don't understand XRP, you shouldn't be investing in it. You don't understand BIDU or that other stock that someone suggested earlier, the healthcare company. I don't understand it. I'm not looking to invest in it. I'm not going to pretend I know what it's all about. So keep it simple. If you can't explain how a company makes money, remember these companies have to make money, or how they're going to turn profitable, don't buy it. Complexity is often used to hide high risks. If they make it sound all complex, or if they make it all sound all complex, this has to happen, that has, they're normally trying to hide something in the background. Number 4, set your rules early. Decide what you'll do before the market crashes. How many times have I told you guys this? Have a plan. If it goes up, what are you going to do? Most of the time, it's not much. You're just going to let it ride or wait long term, unless it's crypto or something high risk, then you might want to take profits. But more importantly, what are you going to do if the markets crash? What's your plan? Where are you going to buy? Are you going to buy? Are you going to sell? What are you going to do? Please don't panic sell. So set your rules early before you have to make the decision. Decide what you will do before the market crashes. Decide what you're going to do before the market pumps. If you wait until you are scared to make a plan, you'll probably make a mistake. Number 5, the thing is 99% of people watching this video right now, or this live stream right now, or maybe 90%, because we do have quite a few Lucasades in the show today, so I'm sure they care a bit more. But 90% of the people watching, even maybe some Lucasades, won't listen to these rules. This person has been investing for a whole lifetime. He knows what he's talking about. These are the rules to investing. Some people still won't listen to these rules, and they want to make money quick, and they will lose out. And it's awful because they've spent all the time, they've done the research, but because they don't listen to some of these rules, they will lose out. They don't set the plan beforehand. They don't keep it simple. They just look at the headlines. They want to get rich in a week. They made bad decisions. Temperament over IQ, number 1, in my opinion. Being smart isn't enough. You don't have to be smart to make money, by the way. Being smart isn't enough to make money. And these are all from Warren Buffett, by the way. You need the discipline to stay calm when everyone else is either greedy or terrified. When other people are scared, when other people are greedy, you need to be disciplined. That's not because you're smart. That's just because you're controlling your temperament, your emotions. Control your emotions, and you win. That's about. Then we come on to Berkshire Hathaway's war chest and the charts of the day. I don't want to give away too much from the newsletter, so go and check out the newsletter and consider becoming a premium member. Remember, I have just funded the account now, so this is going to get exciting. Let me see if I can mirror this for a second. You can see the account is now funded with 5,000. Just like Martyn funded his account with 5,000, 4 years ago, and now he's sat at 300,000. Let's see if we can do the same together. Again, not by together, I mean on the show. I don't mean anyone follow me. Please do not follow me. This is not financial advice. Okay, let me go over to the live chat and answer everyone's questions before we go over to Martyn in just under 10 minutes. Great information, thanks a lot. No worries. Hope it was last up when USA drops in. Human being, Liz, thank you. Sammy says, good morning, Sense. Oh, Sammy, lovely to have you here. Congratulations on your 1-year badge, by the way. Human being says, all sleeping. Everyone's sleeping, I know. Etan Tony says, hello from the Netherlands. Wonderful. Thank you for being here. Chris is here. Good morning. Tidy Big Dog says, hello. Ninja Cowboy says, working. I'm always quiet in the morning. No worries, Ninja Cowboy. Lovely to have you here. Anointed Flower says, good morning, everyone. Anointed Flower, it's lovely to have you here. I was checking out your channel last night. Ninja Cowboy says, unless we get a troll. Human Being Liz says, there you are. There you all are. There we go. Yeah, everyone's in the chat. Everyone just wasn't commenting. I know a lot of people listen to this on their way to work. They listen to it as they get up. I just want to see who's here. It was a quiet morning. Human Being Liz says, it's quiet, thank God. They're drunk, Ninja. Motivation for Young Mind says, really grateful for your newsletters and updates. Thanks, Sensei. Oh, we've got a special guest on the show.
At David Hensley 3009 donated $2 through a super chat. Let's go Sensei with the challenge.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Thank you very much for being a special guest, David Hensley. Happy New Year to you. But that's good too. Human Being Liz says, this Buffett is such a legend. Never knew anything 1 year ago, to be honest. Never been in the markets before. And this guy is almost 100. We learn all life. Yes, he's great. Again, there's some of his views that I don't agree with, but I think when people are maybe near 100, they won't want to change their views about certain things, such as upcoming technologies like crypto. But 95% of the things Warren Buffett says, I think will stand forever in investing. Revved Up Biker says, been purging the XRP hypers on socials. Sick of hearing them. Yeah, that was a ridiculous comment this morning from someone as well. Let me see if I can bring it up on the... If you don't follow my X, go and please hit the like button and repost this post I did this morning. I don't post too much on X. However, I do sometimes. I do read X and I do post. And if I post, it's pretty important. So do make sure you're following me. Please hit that like and repost on X. But this person said, Okay, guys and girls, my bold take on XRP 2026. Here we go again. We are on the cusp of explosive utility adoption, with ETFs pulling in billions from institutions, Ripple partnerships scaling globally, thinking banks settling trillions via XRPL, and regulatory clarity like the Genius Act kicking in. XRP reprices aggressively. It doesn't explain why XRP reprices aggressively, but it does. Expect $10 plus as a floor early on. So what he's saying is expect $10 in this month, next month. Then it's going to surge to 50 to 100 mid-year. So by May, by the time I have a little boy, I'm going to be a millionaire because XRP's gone to 50 to $100. And on tokenization wave and CBDC bridges. And then if mass bank integration hits, and it will, so he's saying when mass bank integration hits, and it will, $1,000 plus per token by end of year. Stable. Not speculative, apparently. It's not speculative, guys. We're 100% hitting $1,000 per token by end of year. Liquidity floods in, but hold tight. This phoenix rises from the reset. BRICS pay pilots, and the Fed fuels the fire. Not hype, just math. This is not hype. This is pure mathematics, guys. I don't know if this person is being paid to shill. I don't know why this person is doing this. This seems like just a normal generic person. This isn't even like an influencer of sorts. So if it is just someone who is a member of the public who's been caught up in all of this,
I can't
please
believe this.
Oh,
At Samuel Edna 7989 has become a member. Good morning. Could you take a quick look at Asar?
yeah, we can have a look at it. Thank you, Samuel. So I don't know if this person's being caught up in it all or is just a member of the public. If he is, please just wake up. If anyone still thinks like this with random numbers, this, that, and the other, this is ludicrous. Please wake up. It's not happening. It's not happening. Just like $100 by New Year's Eve wasn't happening. It's not happening again. We're not going to get $100 XRP this year. We're not going to get $50 XRP this year. We might get $10, depending on how the market goes. Let me answer these questions and see if we have time for Samuel Redness requests. Martyn will be live in 4 minutes' time. This Buffett's such a legend, yeah. Thank you, Revved Up Biker. I'm here. Southwest Florida says bounce back. Lovely to have you here. One of too many people, copper and silver. Yep, they're looking good. Daniel Morgan says, do you not think we've front run all this bad news FUD? All the low cap stocks have been destroyed along with crypto. Bitcoin and Mag 7 have ran up, but they're just moving money around between them. Yeah, I think 2026 we'll see a rotation into other stocks and possibly into crypto as well. I'm not. Someone I think earlier said you said bear market. I've never. All I've said was about 5 months ago that we're more likely to be in a downtrend of bear market, and from that point, altcoins dropped 90%, crypto dropped 70%. The bear market could be done. It could have been a short. It could be a short bear market. I don't know where we are, but I want to be ready for long-term investing, which means be in the markets and buy the dips rather than stay out the market because you think we're going to be in a strong bear market. Ninja Cowboy says a lot of these rules can be applied in other things in life. I feel like too. Yes, definitely. Yes, and says hi Sensei. We're reading deposits every month. I think so. Yeah. I don't know if it'll be every month. I don't think there'll be a strict way of doing it. Just like Martyn, deposit when I can. David Hensley says, let's go Sensei with the challenge. Yes, it's going to be 5. These guys are mad. Frederick says, hello, thank you for the great update and great news. Best. Thank you very much, Frederick. Oh, the wake up. David Hensley is here. Legal says they just wanted views. Yolanda says, Sensei, will you be using margin during your challenge or stick with your own money? I won't be using margin, I don't think. I don't imagine I'll be. I don't even think Trading 212 allows you to use margin, so probably not. Will I transfer some money into the CFD side of Trading 212 for a quick trade? Maybe, maybe not. Depends what's going on, but probably no. I'd imagine I wouldn't be using margin. David Hensley says, good question. Human Being Liz says, Lola Sensei XRP baby comes. Good morning. Can you have a quick look at USAR? I don't have any time this morning, Samuel Redner. If I did, I would. We're going over to Martyn in literally 30 seconds. I'll see if I could do like 5-second review. Yolanda says, hello, thank you, Sensei. Leonard says, Happy New Year and let's learn and earn. Yep, it Itazantone says people having their hopes up too much. Yes, Steve says smash those likes. Thank you, David Hensley. Yes, please smash those likes. Octopus says, how do we know the effect clarity will have once Ripple has to reallocate the escrow? It could dramatically change supply demand. No, it won't. Shep says, if XRP hits $100 by the time you have a little boy, you can name him XRP. Congrats. OG USDT just got rugged. Oh God, sorry about that. I hope you weren't involved. Then you woke up, $1,000 XRP. No worries. Sammy Redner, I'm going to do it. I think Martyn will have a countdown. We've got literally 30 seconds, so I'll do it. Let me go over to the screen here. USA Rare Earth. Okay, it's currently sat at $11. God. Oh, wow. It had a terrible earnings. Don't know how that happened. You take a look into why the previous earnings was so horrific. I don't know why that was. Chart wise, it's one of those stocks you probably don't want to hold long term, but you might take short term trades on it. It is coming into a level of potential value, maybe double bottom at $11. I wouldn't take a massive risk with this stock personally. Again, not financial advice, but you are coming into a zone of lower risk compared to where you've been previously. So between $10 and $11, I might take a hit on, take a chance on it, but I would want to know what happened in their last earnings. But yeah, there might be a short-term trade going on between $10, $11 around where we are now for at least a short-term bounce. Where would I, if we've bottomed out already, then that bounce could be towards even $20. And if you want to be a bit more conservative, that'll be your sort of last one of your targets. A more conservative target would be up the scale here, so 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. But yeah, I would imagine you would at least get a small bounce here to $13. But yeah, I'd really want to know what happened in their last earnings. I might look at this further because I am looking at miners as well to buy in the challenge. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Martyn is now live. The link is pinned to the comment section. It also automatically take you there. His event is starting in the next couple minutes. So again, Happy New Year to you all. I wish you a healthy, first of all, spend time with your family. Say that you love your loved ones, or tell your loved ones that you love them. And I hope everyone has a prosperous new year as well. Let's make this the year we all make money together. Just reading the last comments. Another point, every man and his dog are talking about a crash in 2026, and the crashes are normally unexpected, not broadcasted first. Actually, every single investor, every single institution is calling for the stock markets to continue to go higher. Thank you, Sensei. Buy XRP now. YouTube hasn't been letting me chat. I've had to restart multiple times. Anyone else? Chris, I can see your comments. Thanks, Sensei, a lot, and your sweet wife. Thank you, human being Liz. Thank you all for tuning in. First stream of 2026. Let's make this year a good one. I've funded the portfolio challenge account. Let's see what we can do. Until next time, take care of yourselves.